I'm gonna do I'm gonna do some squats with you tonight, and also just to get your spine a little bit more mobile to start with, but we're going to do it in standing. So it's going to be like a cat exercise that we would sometimes do on, or usually do it on all fours, but this time I'm going to just show you how you can do it from standing, which is quite handy if you've got sore knees. Like, if I know a lot of you might be out gardening and stuff at the moment, so you maybe don't want to spend a lot of time on your knees, so this is a good alternative. So you're going to stand nice and tall through your spine, take a wee bit of time to get yourself into a good standing position. We're going to take the feet slightly wider than your hips, okay? And we're going to go into a little squat. We're going to go into a wee squat. So remember, with your squats, you take your sit bones back, try and keep your knees over your feet so they're not going to come beyond your toes. And you're just going to settle your hands just above your knees in a comfortable position. Try and keep your shoulders wide on your back. Your shoulder blades wide on your back, so that they don't come up around your ears. So to kind of draw them away. And you're trying to keep your spine at this point in a nice neutral position. So don't overarch that back. So sometimes what might happen is you go into a natural position of sending the bum out, so that dips quite a lot. So kind of just bring yourself into that neutral position, and hopefully the rest of your spine is quite happy. So from there, it's the same movement as you would do in your cat. You're going to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone under. So really think about that sequential movement happening all the way up through the spine. And then as you continually tuck the tailbone under, the rest of the spine is just going to follow, and you find yourself in that curve. Now you're really like hollowing out through your abdominals here, so pulling the belly button to the back of the spine, and you've got a nice curve through the whole of your back. And then you're bringing yourself back into neutral, and then we'll go into a wee extended cat. So with our extended cat, just try and keep the pelvis in neutral, so we're not going to dip the lower back down at all, and we're just going to reach through the chest, so kind of pulling the breastbone forward to the front of the room so your gaze can come forward. But I've not dipped through here, so I've not overarched that lower back. So you're keeping that in neutral, and you're just lifting the breastbone up. Bring that back to neutral, and then you can go back into that curvy cat again. And it's all coming from that initial tuck under of the tailbone. So it's this tuck under here that's creating a ripple up through the rest of your spine, back into neutral, and then that lift through your breastbone, wide through the shoulders, and then back into your neutral again, and just keep going. So you're going to exhale as you ripple up. Inhale to hold. And exhale back. And inhale, reach forward with the breastbone. And exhale back to neutral. Inhale here just to settle yourself. Exhale, tuck that tailbone under and come all the way up. Find that lovely fluid motion through the spine. Inhale to hold it here. Exhale, bring yourself back to neutral, and inhale, lifting the breastbone forward, reaching it forward, keeping the shoulders wide and away from your ears. Exhale back to neutral. Inhale here to hold that neutral, and exhale again, you're curving all the way through your spine. Nice and wide through the shoulder blades. Now, even though I'm at the top of my curve, I am still actively tucking that tailbone under. I want to get as much length through this lower back as possible. Coming back into my neutral, and then lifting the breastbone forward again, back into the neutral position, and then we're just going to do this one more time. Now, you don't have to add in the extended bit at the end if you don't want to. You can just go through your normal, so you're the flexed position. So just continue that little tuck under, and then bring yourself back to neutral, and then just go back into the tuck under again if that feels like it's what your body needs you to do. Okay, so once you're finished, you're going to bring yourself all the way back up to your nice tall standing position again. You're going to take your feet back underneath your hips, so they're in their hip distance apart position. Give your shoulders a little roll forward and back, and we're going to go back into our squat again. So again, the sit bones are coming back. We're going to lengthen the arms forwards. So take a big deep breath in and exhale. And inhale back up. Now, I want you to be mindful of that neck to start with. One of the most common things with our squats is as we go down, we want to keep looking forward. You don't need to keep looking forward. Just allow the head and the neck to do the same thing as your spine's doing, which is basically nothing. You're just hinging whole upper body from the hip joint. So there's no movement, individual movement through your spine at all. It is just tipping forward because you're bending your knees and your hips, okay? So your gaze starts forward and it ends towards the floor, towards your mat. And back up. Exhale down. Inhale back. You can make it quite dynamic. Exhale down. Inhale back. Try and keep those toes glued to the floor. Exhale down. Inhale back. And remember to keep that lower back long or in its neutral place. You don't want to overarch that lower back. Exhale down. Inhale tall. Exhale down. Keep engaging through those glutes. You don't want any pressure through the knees, which is another reason we don't want to take the knees in front of our toes. Exhale up, inhale up, exhale down. We're going to do two more. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up. Last one, we're going to stay down for our little pulses for 10. So we're just going to pause here and do little bounces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it there for a wee moment. Lengthen all the way back up to in your tall standing position. Give your arms a shake, give your shoulders a little roll again, and forward. Okay, we are going to take a ball. If you don't have a ball, use a cushion or a teddy bear, whatever you fancy. Doesn't really matter, it's not really about the ball, it's just about having something in your hand, okay? Going to take the feet a little bit wider this time again, in your hips, turning the toes out. So we're going to go into, I think they call this a sumo squat, so the knees are going to follow that same direction of the direction that your feet are pointing in. Okay, I'm going to take the ball out in front of us and it's going to be caught in one hand, okay? So you're going to squat down, the back is tall, so we're not hinging forward. We're just going to keep the back tall and we're going to hinge down. So the knees will come forward a little bit this time because we're not hinging back. And we're going to take the ball out or your object out, bring it back and then swap our arms. So we're going to stay here in our squat as we do our little changing position of the ball. Now the thing to be mindful of in this one, as well as keeping those glutes fired up so you don't put pressure through your knees, is your shoulders. So again, those shoulder blades stay nice and wide on the back. If you feel if they come together, what's going to happen is your shoulders are going to come up. So just watch what I'm doing now. That's not any good. So keep them away from your ears and keep the shoulder blades wide on your back. And it'll open up the collarbone a bit more. Give you a bit of extension through those arms. Take them back a little bit further if you can. And as you take them back further, reach through those fingertips a little bit more. Okay, one more to each side. Last one, ball back into the center and just slowly lengthen those legs back up nice and tall. We're going to bring them back in. Taking them, we're going to keep our feet in turn out, so heels are coming together in our first position and then we're standing tall again. So this time we are going to hinge the hips forward, but again this time our legs are going to be in that turned out position, so kind of a mixture of the first two squats that we did. So again, you take a big inhale and then as you exhale, hinging the hips as the body lengthens forward and reach through those arms and bring yourself back up again. And exhale down. And inhale back. I'll just change position so you can see what my back's doing. But keep going with yours. Exhale down. Inhale back. Exhale down. Inhale back. So again, just hinging from our hips so there's no change in curves through the spine. Good. Two more. Keep working through those glutes. No pressure through the knees. This is quite a good one for leg alignment because we're trying to keep the legs moving in the same angle as our feet. One more. Nice and tall at the top. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. Okay, so this time what we're going to do is we're going to have our hands on our hips. We're going to take our feet back to hip distance apart. And we're just going to do little heel raises first of all. Just lifting the heels off the floor, dropping them down and just bending the knees. So again, just watch your leg alignment. Keep those knees in between the feet and the hips. You don't want them coming together or apart. Exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, and just keep going. Keep firing up those glutes. Avoid pressure in the knee. If this doesn't feel good for your knees, that it coming beyond the foot, because of course, because we're not hinging from our hips, the knees are going to go forward, or because our sit bones aren't going back, our knees will be traveling forward. It's not for everyone, so you can change it and take it back and up. So kind of like the first one, a little combination going into that squat and then back up, that's fine. Just do whatever one suits you. 2 more. Last one. Okay, so this time we're going to do a little change of feet. So we're going to keep the hands on the hips. This is basically just to give you a bit of sense of where your hips are in space, because this time we're going to lift our heels off the floor. We're going to drop one heel down and one knee goes forward. But we're going to try and keep the hips in the same place in space. So the hips don't move. The heel wants to travel towards the floor. If it gets there, that's fine. Don't worry if it doesn't. Your aim is to keep the hips still in space. Okay? So it takes your concentration a wee bit more to your legs and how far you can extend that heel towards the floor to get a proper length through the back of the leg, keeping those hips really, really still. And it's balance as well. Take it nice and slowly. You can make it more dynamic if you want to, just a little bit faster, but don't lose the quality of the movement if you're doing that. Then we're going to make it a bit freer, so go for the bounce. Let the feet just go, let the hips go. It's good to get some movement as well sometimes. Just feel a little bit looser. I think we're sometimes a wee bit too rigid with our Pilates. So do the kind of nice controlled movement, but also just give yourself a little bit more freedom as well, okay? More to each side and back down, okay? Give your legs and arms a little shake. And we're going to come onto one foot. So just lifting off one foot and circle through the ankle. Just try and stay nice and tall, and then go in the opposite direction. And just lengthen that leg away, but you're not going to rest it on the floor. Now we're going to lift that leg up and back down. We're just going to do 3 lifts forward, 3 lifts out to the side, and 3 lifts back, but I don't have room because I've got my sofa right there. So 3 lifts behind you, and then bring yourself back. Lost my balance there a wee bit at the end. And then over to the other foot. So just bring yourself off the floor with that foot, little circles to begin with. And even the ankle circles, try and get it as smooth as you can. Try and keep that leg as still as you can, so it's just the foot that's moving. And then reverse. I can see in the reflection of this door in front of me that my shin is moving about a wee bit. So just try and concentrate in keeping it so that it's just the foot moving. Then lengthen the leg away. lifting it up. Just for 3, and out, then out to the side, and then behind you. 2, 3, and bring yourself back to your nice tall standing again. So take your feet back, hip distance apart, and we're just going to have a little roll down. So big inhale, and as you exhale, tuck the chin towards the chest and just start rolling down through your spine. So we're going to do a slightly different roll down, so just keep listening to me as you're doing this. We're going to stay down in your roll down, and if you can, just lift one heel off the floor and then bring that heel back down. The other heel comes off the floor and that heel comes back down. Try and lift both heels off the floor if you can, even just an inch. Back down, and again, and back down one more time. So you're in your roll down, but you're on your tiptoes. Big deep breath in. Let's just hold the backs of the legs. Maybe you can come a little bit closer to your legs. Have a big inhale here, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale, and inhale. And then this time you're going to restack your spine all the way up, so you're nice and tall again at the top. Come into a little extension, take those arms behind you, lift up through the collarbone, and bring yourself back nice and tall. One more time, inhale, away, lifting through the collarbone, and exhale to bring yourself back into the middle. Okay, so that's our squats. The next bit I'm going to do is extension on the floor, so I'll get that one to you very shortly. Okay, thanks very much.